What do you tell the families that are still waiting for answers?
The things I do tell them is that their cases will remain active, that the unit will continue looking into them, and why I may not have an update for several years even, that we go back and we're going to relook and re-examine and then have somebody else come in and put a fresh set of eyes on it, and we won't give up. And perhaps there are some cases that won't get resolved, but I'm confident there are many, many cases that will be resolved in time, but mostly just having to ask them to have a little bit of faith and have a little bit of patience when that has to seem impossible for them.
How long can one hold on to that hope before it fades away? And what happens when the answer finally comes? These are the questions that plague us all at some point in our lives. 21 years ago, on a quiet night in March of 2002, a 39-year-old woman named Sharon Van Gilder was last seen leaving a bar in Tacoma, Washington. Little did anyone know that her departure from the bar that night would be the last time anyone saw her alive. Who could have done this to an innocent woman? Was it someone she knew who was responsible for her death? Welcome to Cold Case Files, where we bring to you the stories of America's notorious cold cases. Today, we are looking at the 21-year-old cold case of Sharon Van Gilder that was finally solved in 2021. But first, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into the mystery. Tacoma is a port town in Washington state on the banks of the Puget Sound south of Seattle. Its vibrant urban core is alive with culture. When you visit Tacoma, you're in for a treat. This city is a hub of creativity and culture and is known around the world for its stunning glass art. As you wander through the city's vibrant urban core, you'll be struck by the sense of energy and vitality that permeates the community. Tacoma's must-see attractions include the Museum of Glass, featuring works by Dale Chihuly and dazzling installations on the Chihuly Bridge of Glass, and the Tacoma Art Museum, showcasing the region's diverse artistic traditions and contemporary trends. The friendly city inspires many to celebrate the melding of old and new, but not everything is as transparent as glass. It is here in Tacoma, Washington, that our case begins. Sharon Van Gilder was born in 1963 in the United States of America. Growing up in Enumclaw, Washington, Sharon had a large extended family that included several siblings. In 2002, she was a beloved member of her community in Tacoma and was a devoted mother to her son and daughter. Her kind and amiable nature earned her many friends who spoke highly of her after her disappearance in March of 2002. Those who knew her were particularly fond of her and had nothing but good things to say about her character. Little did they know that the joyous woman would soon be leaving their lives, and they would have to bid her farewell. It was an unremarkable March evening in 2002 when Sharon was seen leaving a bar with a man. Despite having a few drinks, Sharon didn't appear to be in any trouble, and nothing suspicious was observed by those who witnessed her departure. Unfortunately, it would turn out to be the last time anyone would see Sharon alive and cheerful. Barely 2 hours had passed since Sharon was last seen leaving the bar in Tacoma when an unclothed body was discovered on the side of the road near 156th Street East and 74th Avenue East. The shocking discovery stunned the community, and speculation ran rampant about the identity of the deceased and the circumstances leading up to their tragic demise. The swift and brutal turn of events raised more questions than answers, leaving investigators scrambling to piece together what happened in those 2 fateful hours. The mystery of the identity of the body found on the side of the road in Tacoma, Washington, was finally solved when the Pierce County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed that it was Sharon's body. The confirmation was made by matching her fingerprints, bringing a sense of resolution but also raising new questions about what could have happened to the cheerful woman seen leaving a bar only a couple of hours before her death. The discovery of Sharon's identity added another layer of complexity to the investigation, leaving the community wondering who could have committed such a heinous act and what the motive behind it could have been. With just an unclothed body lying on the side of the road in the 15600 block of 74th Avenue East, detectives could not find much evidence at the scene, and there were no marks on the body, which led them to believe that the crime had happened at a different location. The autopsy report helped in identifying Sharon's body as well as in following up on potential suspects. Detectives were determined to solve the case of Sharon Van Gilder's murder. They spoke to witnesses who had seen Sharon leaving the bar with a Hispanic male on the night of her death. After conducting a thorough investigation, detectives discovered a hair on Sharon's body that belonged to a man, and they suspected it was the man she had left with on the night, as it matched the description they had of him. This discovery led them to consider him the primary suspect. Pierce County Sheriff's Department quickly identified Manuel Urbano-Vazquez as the main murder suspect. However, he fled to Mexico before law enforcement was able to arrest him. Detectives were also unable to obtain a DNA profile from him to match with DNA found on Van Gilder's body. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the case went cold. However, the detectives refused to give up and continued to work on the case, hoping that someday they would find the answers they sought. 10 years later, the renewed investigation into the cold case of Sharon Van Gilder's murder began when the Pierce County Sheriff's Office created its cold case unit in 2012. Retired Detective Sergeant Tim Cobell took on the case and discovered 3 sexual assaults that occurred in Tacoma around the same time as the homicide. With thorough investigation and study of the 3 other sexual assault cases, he was able to connect the man who was last seen leaving the bar with Van Gilder to the sexual assaults. Thanks to advances in forensic technology, DNA profiles from all 4 cases were matched to Manuel Urbano-Vazquez for homicide and sexual assault. However, Urbano-Vazquez had fled to Mexico in 2002, shortly after Sharon's death, before detectives could obtain a DNA sample from him. With this new evidence, detectives were able to establish probable cause to arrest Urbano-Vazquez for the murder of Van Gilder. The Pierce County Prosecutor's Office filed charges against him, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. However, Urbano-Vazquez remained at large for several years, causing anguish for the victim's family and law enforcement officials. In 2019, Urbano-Vazquez was located in Mexico by the FBI for the murder of Sharon Van Gilder and multiple sexual assault charges committed over 2 decades ago. Detective Sergeant Linnell Anderson spearheaded the application for extradition paperwork to bring Urbano-Vazquez back to the U.S. to face trial. After a long and arduous process, the paperwork was finally processed in March 2023. Manuel Urbano-Vazquez was arrested in Mexico on March 14, 2023, by the FBI and Mexican authorities after evading authorities for years. The FBI had located him in 2019 for the heinous crimes he committed more than 20 years ago, including the murder of Sharon and multiple sexual assault charges. The Mexican authorities provided crucial assistance in facilitating his arrest, working in conjunction with the Pierce County Prosecutor's Office, Tacoma Police Detectives, Pierce County Sheriff Detectives, FBI, Interpol, the State Police Crime Lab, and the Assistant U.S. Attorney's Office. However, the legal battle to bring Urbano-Vazquez back to the U.S. is not over yet. According to the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, there will be still more time before Urbano-Vazquez is brought back to Pierce County to face trial. He will have hearings in Mexico to argue why he should not be deported, which could take 6 months or longer. Despite the challenges, the arrest of Urbano-Vazquez is a significant step towards justice for the victims and their families. It is a testament to the unwavering dedication of law enforcement officials in pursuing fugitives who evade justice, no matter how long it takes. The process of bringing Urbano-Vazquez to trial may be complex, but it is a necessary step towards ensuring accountability for his heinous crimes. This arrest marks the culmination of a long and difficult search for justice for the victims and their families. The apprehension of Urbano-Vazquez serves as a reminder that law enforcement agencies remain vigilant in their pursuit of fugitives who evade the law. The tragedy of Sharon's death and the trauma inflicted upon the survivors of Urbano-Vazquez's violent acts cannot be undone, but the arrest of the perpetrator brings some sense of closure and accountability. It is a testament to the perseverance and dedication of law enforcement officials who work tirelessly to bring justice to victims of violent crimes. What happened that night before Sharon was murdered? Could things have been different had she not left with that man, or was it her destiny? What do you think might have been the motive of the killer? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, and thanks for watching.